Fear is a natural human emotion that everyone experiences at some point in life. It is an instinctive response designed to protect us from harm, alerting us to danger, and keeping us cautious in uncertain situations. This survival mechanism has been essential for human evolution, helping our ancestors avoid life-threatening situations. However, while fear is meant to protect us, it can also become a barrier that prevents us from reaching our full potential. When fear takes control, it limits our ability to grow, take risks, and step outside our comfort zones. Instead of being a helpful guide, it becomes an invisible chain that holds us back from pursuing our dreams, trying new experiences, and becoming the best versions of ourselves. One of the most important things to understand about fear is that it is not always based on reality. Often, our fears are exaggerated by our minds, making situations seem more dangerous or difficult than they really are. We fear failure, rejection, embarrassment, or uncertainty, even when the actual consequences may not be as severe as we imagine. Many people hesitate to chase their goals simply because they fear what might happen if they fail. But the truth is, failure is not the end. It is a stepping stone to success. Every successful person has failure at some point, but what sets them apart is their ability to push past fear and keep moving forward. Consider a child learning to ride a bicycle. The first few attempts are often filled with fear of falling, fear of getting hurt, fear of not being able to do it. But if the child lets fear take control, they will never learn to ride. Instead, they must embrace the possibility of falling, trust the process, and keep trying. Eventually, through persistence and courage, they master the skill. This same principle applies to every aspect of life. Whether it is starting a new career, speaking in public, or pursuing a passion, the fear of failure can be overwhelming. But overcoming that fear leads to growth and achievement. Fear also has a way of making us doubt our own abilities. It whispers in our minds that we are not good enough, smart enough, or strong enough. It convinces us that we are incapable of achieving great things, leading to self-doubt and insecurity. But the truth is, fear is a liar. It magnifies our weaknesses and minimizes our strengths. Many people who have achieved greatness started out with fears and doubts, but they refused to let those fears define them. They understood that fear is only powerful if we allow it to be. By believing in ourselves and taking action despite fear, we can break free from its grip and accomplish incredible things. One of the biggest challenges with fear is that it often keeps us inside our comfort zones. The comfort zone is a place of safety and predictability, where we feel secure and in control. But while it may feel comfortable, it is also a place of stagnation. True growth and success come from stepping outside of our comfort zones and embracing the unknown. This requires courage, but the rewards are worth it. The greatest achievements in life, whether in business, relationships, or personal development, come from taking risks and pushing past fear. When we challenge ourselves to do things that scare us, we expand our potential and discover new strengths we never knew we had. Another important aspect of fear is that it is temporary. The fear we feel in a particular moment may seem overwhelming, but it eventually fades. Think about a time when you were afraid to do something, perhaps speaking in front of a crowd, taking an important test, or making a difficult decision. In the moment, fear may have consumed you, making you anxious and uncertain. But once you faced the challenge, the fear began to disappear. You realized that the situation was not as terrifying as you had imagined, and you felt a sense of accomplishment for pushing through. This shows that fear is often an illusion, and once we confront it, we gain confidence and resilience. It's also important to remember that courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite fear. Even the bravest people in history have felt fear, but they did not let it stop them. They acknowledged their fear, but they chose to move forward anyway. This is what separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck. Courage is like a muscle. The more we exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Each time we face our fears and push through them, we build confidence and resilience, making it easier to handle future challenges. Fear should not be seen as an enemy, but rather as an opportunity for growth. When we face our fears and overcome them, we become stronger, wiser, and more capable. Fear challenges us to step up, take action, and prove to ourselves that we are capable of more than we think. It pushes us to grow beyond our limits and unlock our full potential. Instead of running from fear, we should embrace it. learn from it, and use it as motivation to achieve our goals. At the end of the day, fear is only as powerful as we allow it to be. It may try to control us, but we have the choice to break free. We must remind ourselves that fear is just an emotion. It does not define who we are or what we are capable of achieving. By refusing to let fear hold us back, we open the door to endless possibilities and a life filled with success, fulfillment, and happiness. So let us take a stand against fear, embrace challenges with confidence, and step into the greatness that awaits us. Throughout history, many great individuals have faced fear and adversity, yet they refuse to let it define them. What separates these individuals from the rest is not the absence of fear, but their ability to overcome it. They understood that fear is a natural part of life, but instead of letting it hold them back, they used it as motivation to push forward. Their stories serve as powerful reminders that courage and determination can lead to incredible achievements, even in the face of the most daunting challenges. One of the most famous examples of overcoming fear is Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Edison faced countless failures in his pursuit of creating a sustainable electric light source. He conducted thousands of experiments, each one ending in failure, yet he never gave up. When asked about his repeated failures, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Instead of allowing fear of failure to stop him, he saw each attempt as a learning opportunity. His perseverance led to one of the most significant inventions in human history, illuminating the world in ways that were once unimaginable. If Edison had let fear of failure paralyze him, he might have given up long before reaching success. Another inspiring example is Malala Yousafzai, a young girl who stood up for education despite facing life-threatening danger. In Pakistan, where she grew up, girls' education was under threat by extremist groups who sought to deny them the right to learn. Malala refused to be silenced. She continued to speak out, advocating for the right of every girl to receive an education. In 2012, she was shot by the Taliban for her activism, an attack meant to instill fear and prevent her from continuing her mission. However, instead of giving in to fear, Malala emerged stronger than ever. She continued her fight, becoming the youngest Nobel Peace Prize laureate and an international symbol of bravery. Her story proves that fear does not have to dictate our actions. Instead, when we stand firm in our beliefs and push past fear, we can create lasting change. Nelson Mandela, one of the most influential leaders in history, also faced tremendous fear and adversity. He spent 27 years in prison for fighting against apartheid, a system of racial segregation in South Africa. Many people in his position would have been consumed by fear of persecution, fear of never being free again, fear of losing everything. But Mandela chose a different path. He used his time in prison to strengthen his resolve and prepare for the day he could continue his fight for justice. Upon his release, instead of seeking revenge, he chose reconciliation, leading his country toward unity and peace. His famous words, "I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it," reflect the essence of true bravery. Mandela's story teaches us that fear may be present in our lives, but it should never be the reason we stop fighting for what is right. Similarly, Oprah Winfrey, one of the most successful media personalities in the world, overcame a life filled with hardship and fear. She faced poverty, abuse, and rejection early in life, but she refused to let fear of failure or rejection dictate her future. Instead, she used every setback as fuel to push forward. When she was fired from her first television job, she could have allowed fear of not being good enough to stop her. Instead, she continued to pursue her passion, eventually becoming one of the most influential women in media. Her journey serves as a reminder that fear and doubt may try to hold us back, but perseverance and belief in ourselves can lead to extraordinary success. Another powerful example is J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before achieving worldwide fame, Rowling faced numerous hardships. She was a single mother living in poverty, struggling to make ends meet while trying to pursue her dream of becoming a writer. She sent her manuscript to multiple publishers, only to face rejection after rejection. Many people in her position would have given in to fear and self-doubt, believing they were not good enough. But Rowling refused to give up. She kept pushing forward, believing in her story even when others did not. Eventually, her perseverance paid off, and Harry Potter became one of the best-selling book series in history. Her story is a testament to the fact that fear and failure do not define us. Our ability to persist despite them does. These stories of resilience and courage all share a common theme. Fear was present, but it was not in control. Fear did not stop these individuals from pursuing their dreams, fighting for justice, or changing the world. Instead, they used fear as a stepping stone, a challenge to be overcome rather than a barrier to success. Their journeys remind us that fear is not an enemy. It is simply a part of the process. Quade C. What matters most is how we respond to it. In our own lives, we may not face the same struggles as these historical figures, but we all encounter moments where fear threatens to hold us back. Whether it is fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of the unknown, we must remember that greatness lies beyond fear. The people who achieve extraordinary things are not those who never feel fear. They are the ones who choose to act despite it. When we look at the stories of people like Thomas Edison, Malala Yousafzai, Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, and J.K. Rowling, we see that success is not about never feeling afraid. It is about refusing to let fear dictate our choices. They teach us that when we have a vision, when we believe in ourselves, and when we refuse to give up, we can overcome even the greatest obstacles. So the next time fear tries to stop you, remember these stories. Remember that fear is temporary, but regret lasts forever.
Ugh.
Remember that every great achievement was once just an idea that someone refused to abandon. And most importantly, remember that you have the power to overcome fear and create your own story of success. Failure is often seen as something negative, something to be avoided at all costs. From a young age, people are taught to fear failure, whether in school, work, or personal life. Society tends to celebrate success while overlooking the struggles and setbacks that lead to it. However, the reality is that failure is not the end. It is a necessary part of success. Every great achievement is built on a foundation of failures, mistakes, and lessons learned. Rather than being something to fear, failure should be embraced as a stepping stone toward growth, improvement, and eventual success. One of the main reasons people are afraid of failure is because it makes them feel inadequate. Failing at something can lead to disappointment, self-doubt, and even embarrassment. However, failure is not a reflection of one's worth or intelligence. It is simply part of the learning process. Every time a person fails, they gain valuable experience, helps them improve. If people never failed, they would never learn, grow, or push beyond their current abilities. The most successful individuals in the world have all faced failure at some point, but they refused to let it stop. Instead, they used failure as an opportunity to analyze what went wrong, make adjustments, and try again. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, the famous inventor of the light bulb. He conducted thousands of experiments before he finally discovered the right combination of materials to create a functioning electric light. When asked about his repeated failures, Edison responded, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This perspective on failure is what made him successful. He did not see failure as a reason to give up. Instead, he viewed it as progress. Each failed attempt brought him one step closer to his goal. If he had given up after the first few failures, the world might have never experienced the electric light bulb. His story teaches us that failure is not something to be ashamed of. It is a necessary part of innovation and progress. Similarly, J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, faced multiple failures before achieving success. She was a single mother struggling to make ends meet while pursuing her dream of becoming a writer. Her manuscript was rejected by 12 different publishers before finally being accepted. Many people would have given up after the first few rejections, assuming that they were not good enough. However, Rowling refused to let failure define her. She believed in her story, kept pushing forward, and eventually became one of the most successful authors in history. Her journey is a powerful reminder that failure does not mean the end. It is simply a step on the path to success. Another example is Walt Disney, who was fired from his first job at a newspaper because his editor told him he lacked creativity. His first business venture also failed, leading him into financial struggles. However, Disney did not let these failures stop him. He continued pursuing his passion, learning from his mistakes, and improving his work. Eventually, he created one of the most successful entertainment empires in history. Today, Disney is a household name, but his journey to success was filled with obstacles and setbacks. His story proves that failure is not a sign of weakness. It is a test of perseverance and determination. Failure also teaches resilience, which is an essential quality for achieving long-term success. When people experience failure and learn to recover from it, they develop the strength to face future challenges. If everything came easily, people would never build the resilience needed to handle adversity. Some of the greatest minds in history failed repeatedly before they succeeded, and each failure strengthened their ability to keep going. One of the biggest lessons that failure teaches is the importance of persistence. Success rarely happens overnight. It takes time, effort, and multiple attempts to achieve something great. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. Instead of giving up, he used that failure as motivation to train harder and improve his skills. He later became a 6-time NBA champion and is widely regarded as one of the best athletes in history. His story demonstrates that setbacks should not be seen as the end of a journey, but rather as a push to work harder and strive for improvement. In addition to teaching persistence and resilience, failure also fosters creativity and innovation. Some of the most groundbreaking inventions and discoveries have come from failed attempts. When something does not work as planned, it forces people to think outside the box and find new solutions. Many of the world's most successful businesses and technological advancements were born from failure. For example, Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motor Company, failed in multiple business ventures before he revolutionized the automobile industry with mass production. His willingness to learn from failure and keep improving led to one of the most influential companies in history. Another important lesson from failure is that it humbles people and helps them grow. Success can sometimes lead to overconfidence, making people less open to learning and improvement. However, failure reminds individuals that they do not have all the answers and that there is always room to grow. It encourages self-reflection and pushes people to develop new skills, refine their strategies, and become better versions of themselves. Failure also helps people develop a growth mindset, the belief that abilities and intelligence can't be developed through hard work and perseverance. People with a growth mindset see failure as a learning opportunity rather than a personal flaw. Instead of saying, "I failed, so I must not be good at this," they say, "I failed, so I need to learn and improve." This shift in mindset makes a significant difference in how people approach challenges and setbacks. Ultimately, failure is not something to be feared. It is something to be embraced. It is a necessary part of growth, learning, and success. Every great achievement in history has been built on a foundation of failures, and the people who succeed are the ones who refuse to let failure stop them. Instead of being discouraged by setbacks, they use them as fuel to keep pushing forward. The next time you face failure, remember that it is not a sign of defeat. It is a stepping stone toward success. Learn from it, adapt, and keep going. The people who achieve greatness are not those who never fail, but those who never give up. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the journey to success. Courage is the key to progress, and it is what separates those who take action from those who remain stuck in fear. Fear whispers doubts, telling people that they are not ready, not good enough, or not capable of achieving their dreams. However, courage is the voice that fights back, saying, "I will try anyway." The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not the absence of fear, but the ability to act despite it. Courage does not mean that fear disappears. It means making a conscious decision to move forward, regardless of fear's presence. Fear is a natural emotion, and everyone experiences it in some form. Whether it is fear of failure, rejection, embarrassment, or uncertainty, it affects all people at different points in life. However, fear only has as much power as a person gives it. It can either control decisions and prevent action, or it can be faced head-on, allowing growth and achievement. The most successful individuals in history were not free of fear. They simply chose courage over fear. They understood that waiting for fear to disappear before taking action is a mistake, because fear never completely goes away. Instead, they learn to manage fear and push past it. Courage does not always come in grand, dramatic moments. Often, it is found in the small, everyday choices people make. It is the student who raises their hand in class despite being nervous about getting the answer wrong. It is the entrepreneur who starts a business despite the risk of failure. It is the artist who shares their work with the world, knowing that some may criticize it. Each of these moments requires courage, and each time a person chooses to be brave, they become stronger and more confident in their abilities. One of the most important things to understand about courage is that it is like a muscle. The more it is exercised, the stronger it becomes. The first time someone does something outside their comfort zone, it may feel terrifying. But each time they push themselves to be brave, they build confidence. Over time, what once seemed impossible begins to feel achievable. For example, a person who is afraid of public speaking may feel extremely anxious the first time they speak in front of an audience. However, if they keep practicing and facing their fear, each experience becomes easier, and eventually, they develop the confidence to speak without hesitation. Throughout history, countless individuals have demonstrated the power of courage in overcoming fear. One such example is Martin Luther King Jr., who faced immense opposition and threats while fighting for civil rights. He could have allowed fear to silence him, but instead, he chose to speak up for justice. His courage inspired millions and led to significant changes in society. His story proves that courage is not about being fearless. It is about standing up for what is right, despite fear. Another example is Amelia Earhart, the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean. At a time when aviation was still developing and women were discouraged from pursuing such ambitions, she dared to follow her passion. She faced countless challenges and doubters, but she did not let fear stop her. Her courage paved the way for future generations of women in aviation and beyond. Her story reminds us that taking risks and stepping into the unknown can lead to incredible achievements. Courage is also crucial in personal development. Many people have dreams and goals, but they never pursue them because they are afraid of failing or looking foolish. However, those who succeed are the ones who take the first step, even when they feel unprepared. They understand that progress comes from action, not from waiting for the perfect moment. The truth is, there is never a perfect moment. There's only now. Those who wait for the fear to go away may spend their entire lives waiting, never realizing their full potential. One of the biggest barriers to courage is the fear of judgment. Many people hesitate to take action because they worry about what others will think. They fear criticism, rejection, or not meeting expectations. However, the reality is that no matter what someone does, there will always be people who judge or doubt them. The key is to stop seeking approval and focus on personal growth and fulfillment. The most successful people in the world faced criticism and rejection before achieving greatness. If they had let fear of judgment stop them, they would have never reached their goals. Courage is not just about achieving success. It is also about resilience. Life is filled with setbacks and challenges, and without courage, it is easy to give up when things get difficult. Courage allows people to keep going, even when the path is uncertain. It helps them get back up after failure and continue moving forward. Without courage, progress would be impossible because every great achievement requires taking risks and facing obstacles. Another important aspect of courage is that it inspires others. When one person chooses to be brave, they set an example for those around them. A person who takes a stand against injustice encourages others to do the same. A leader who takes bold steps toward innovation inspires their team to think creatively. A friend who speaks honestly about their struggles gives others permission to do the same. Courage is contagious, and by being brave, individuals not only change their own lives, but also influence those around them. Ultimately, courage is the key to unlocking potential. It allows people to chase their dreams, step outside their comfort zones, and grow into the best versions of themselves. Fear will always be present, but it does not have to dictate actions. The difference between those who achieve greatness and those who remain stuck is the willingness to take action despite fear. The next time fear tries to hold you back, remember that courage is always an option. Choose to take the first step, no matter how small. With each act of bravery, fear loses its grip and confidence grows. Progress is only possible when you dare to move forward, even when uncertainty looms. Fear may whisper doubts, but courage will always be louder if you let it. Keep pushing forward, keep believing in yourself, and most importantly, keep choosing courage. Stepping outside of one's comfort zone is one of the most important things a person can do for personal growth, success, and self-discovery. The comfort zone is a mental space where people feel safe and in control. It is where routines are predictable, risks are minimal, and there is little fear of failure. While it may feel comfortable, staying in this zone for too long can lead to stagnation, missed opportunities, and unfulfilled potential. Growth happens when people challenge themselves, take risks, and embrace uncertainty. The willingness to step beyond familiar boundaries is what separates those who achieve great things from those who remain stuck in the same place. One of the main reasons people avoid stepping out of their comfort zones is fear of failure, fear of embarrassment, fear of rejection, or fear of the unknown. These fears create mental barriers that prevent people from taking action. However, it is important to understand that fear is often an illusion. The things people are afraid of are rarely as bad as they imagine. More often than not, the worst case scenarios that play out in the mind never actually happen. Even when mistakes or setbacks occur, they are almost always learning experiences rather than disasters. People who achieve success in any area of life, whether in career, relationships, or personal development, do so because they push past fear and take risks. Consider some of the greatest innovators, leaders, and creators in history. They did not achieve greatness by playing it safe. They took bold steps into the unknown, faced uncertainty, and overcame challenges. Elon Musk, for example, took enormous financial and professional risks to build Tesla and SpaceX. If he had stayed in his comfort zone, he would not have revolutionized the automobile and space industries. His willingness to embrace uncertainty and challenge conventional thinking is what set him apart. Another example is Oprah Winfrey, who started from humble beginnings and faced countless obstacles in her journey to success. She could have chosen to remain in familiar surroundings, avoiding risks and staying where life felt safe. However, she pushed herself beyond her comfort zone, took bold steps into the unknown, and pursued her dreams relentlessly. Today, she is one of the most influential women in the world. Her story proves that extraordinary success requires stepping beyond what feels safe and familiar. Personal growth also depends on the willingness to embrace discomfort. When people try new things, they stretch their abilities, develop new skills, and gain confidence. A person who has never spoken in public may feel terrified the first time they stand in front of an audience, but by doing it repeatedly, they become more comfortable, skilled, and confident. A person who has never traveled alone may feel anxious about stepping into an unfamiliar place. But by doing it, they expand their perspective, build resilience, and gain independence. Every new challenge faced is an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more capable. One of the most powerful things about stepping outside of one's comfort zone is that it creates opportunities. When people limit themselves to what feels safe, they close themselves off from new possibilities. Many life-changing opportunities, whether in business, relationships, or personal development, come from taking risks and trying new things. Someone who avoids networking events out of shyness may miss out on connections that could advance their career. Someone who hesitates to apply for a job because they do not feel ready may miss out on a life-changing opportunity. The truth is, most people are never truly ready for the big opportunities in life, but those who take action anyway often find success. Stepping out of the comfort zone also builds resilience. Challenges and failures are inevitable in life, but those who expose themselves to difficult situations become better at handling them. They learn to adapt, problem solve, and stay motivated even when things do not go as planned. Resilient people are not discouraged by setbacks. They see them as part of the journey. The more someone challenges themselves, the better they become at managing uncertainty and overcoming obstacles. In addition to personal growth, pushing past comfort zones leads to greater confidence. Confidence is not something people are born with. It is built through experience. The more someone challenges themselves and succeeds, the more they believe in their abilities. Even when failures occur, the act of trying itself builds inner strength. A person who once doubted themselves may discover that they are capable of far more than they ever imagined. A great example of this is athletes who train for high-performance sports. They constantly push past their limits, challenging themselves to run faster, lift heavier, or perform better. The process is difficult and sometimes painful, but it is the only way they improve. If they only trained within their comfort zones, they would never reach their full potential. The same principle applies to every area of life. Growth happens when people push past their perceived limits. One of the most common regrets people have later in life is not taking enough risks or stepping outside their comfort zones. People often look back and wish they had pursued their dreams, spoken up when it mattered, or taken chances when opportunities arose. This regret comes from realizing that fear held them back from experiencing all that life had to offer. While comfort may feel good in the moment, it rarely leads to fulfillment in the long run. A practical way to start stepping outside of the comfort zone is by taking small, manageable risks. It does not have to be a dramatic leap. Even small changes can make a difference. For example, someone who is afraid of public speaking can start by speaking in small groups before gradually working up to larger audiences. Someone who wants to pursue a new career but is afraid of change can start by taking a course or volunteering in their desired field. Over time, these small steps build confidence and make bigger risks feel less intimidating. Ultimately, staying in the comfort zone may feel safe, but it is also limiting. The greatest experiences, opportunities, and successes in life come from taking risks, embracing challenges, and stepping into the unknown. Fear will always be present, but it should never be the reason to stay stuck. By pushing beyond familiar boundaries, people unlock their full potential, discover new strengths, and create a life filled with growth and possibility. The next time you feel fear or hesitation about trying something new, remember that everything you want in life exists just outside your comfort zone. Take the step, embrace the challenge, and watch yourself grow into the person you are meant to be. Fear is temporary, but the rewards of stepping outside your comfort zone last a lifetime. Believing in oneself is one of the most powerful things a person can do. It is the foundation for success, confidence, and resilience. Without self-belief, even the most talented individuals may struggle to achieve their goals because they lack the courage to take action. On the other hand, those who truly believe in themselves can overcome obstacles, face challenges, and keep moving forward despite setbacks. The journey towards success is filled with difficulties, and the only way to navigate them is by having an unshakable belief in one's abilities. Self-belief is not about arrogance or thinking that one is better than others. It is about having faith in one's skills, potential, and capacity to grow. Many people struggle with self-doubt because they focus too much on their weaknesses instead of their strengths. They compare themselves to others and assume that they are not good enough. However, the truth is that no one starts out as an expert. Every successful person once had doubts and insecurities, but they refused to let those doubts define them. Instead, they focused on what they could improve, learned from their experiences, and kept pushing forward. One of the biggest enemies of self-belief is fear of failure, rejection, or not being good enough. When people allow fear to control them, they hesitate to take risks and miss out on opportunities. They may have dreams and ambitions, but they hold themselves back because they do not believe they can achieve them. However, the most successful people in the world did not let fear stop them. They understood that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone toward growth. They believed in themselves enough to keep trying, even when things did not go as planned. A great example of self-belief is Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players in history. Early in his career, he was cut from his high school basketball team. Many people would have taken that as a sign that they were not good enough and given up. But Jordan refused to let that setback define him. He believed in his ability to improve and worked harder than ever to prove himself. His dedication and self-belief eventually led him to become one of the most celebrated athletes of all time. His story is a reminder that setbacks do not mean failure, only giving up does. Another example is Walt Disney, who faced numerous failures before building his empire. He was once told that he lacked creativity and was even fired from a job because of it. His first business venture failed, leaving him in financial trouble. But despite all these setbacks, he never stopped believing in himself. He kept working toward his vision. And today, Disney is one of the most successful entertainment companies in the world. His story proves that self-belief is not about avoiding failure, but about continuing to move forward despite it. One of the most important aspects of self-belief is the ability to silence negative self-talk. Many people doubt themselves because they constantly tell themselves they are not good enough. They focus on their weaknesses instead of their strengths, which holds them back from achieving their full potential. However, self-belief requires replacing negative thoughts with positive ones. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," one should say, "I can learn how to do this." Instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," one should think, "I have the ability to improve." The mind is powerful, and the way a person talks to themselves shapes their confidence and actions. Self-belief is also built through experience. The more people challenge themselves and achieve small victories, the more their confidence grows. For example, someone who is afraid of public speaking may start by speaking in front of a small group. As they gain experience, they become more comfortable and eventually develop confidence in their ability to speak in front of larger audiences. This principle applies to all areas of life. Confidence does not come from waiting until one feels ready. It comes from taking action and proving to oneself that they are capable. Another important factor in self-belief is surrounding oneself with positive influences. The people one spends time with can either build confidence or destroy it. If someone is constantly surrounded by negativity and doubt, it becomes difficult to believe in themselves. But if they have supportive and encouraging people around them, it strengthens their self-belief. Successful individuals often seek out mentors, coaches, and friends who inspire them and push them to be their best. Being in an environment that nurtures confidence makes it easier to believe in oneself and strive for success. Self-belief also requires perseverance. Life is full of obstacles, and there will always be moments of doubt. However, those who achieve greatness are the ones who push through those moments and keep going. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, failed thousands of times before he succeeded. If he had stopped believing in himself, he would have never made his discovery. But because he had faith in his abilities, he kept experimenting until he finally achieved his goal. His story teaches an important lesson. Persistence is key, and self-belief is what keeps people going when things get tough. One of the most powerful things about self-belief is that it inspires others, dudes. When people see someone who is confident, determined, and unafraid to pursue their dreams, it encourages them to do the same. Leaders, innovators, and change makers all have one thing in common. They believe in themselves even when others doubt them. Their confidence inspires those around them to aim higher and believe in their own potential. Ultimately, self-belief is the foundation for achieving anything in life. Without it, people hesitate, doubt themselves, and miss out on opportunities. But with it, they can overcome fear, push through obstacles, and turn their dreams into reality. It does not mean being perfect or never experiencing doubt. It means having enough faith in oneself to keep going despite challenges. Believing in yourself is a choice. It is something that must be nurtured and strengthened every day. The world is full of opportunities, but only those who believe in themselves have the courage to take them. No matter what challenges come your way, always remember that you are capable, strong, and worthy of success. Believe in yourself, take action, and never let doubt hold you back. The only limits that exist are the ones you place on yourself. So choose to break free from them and step into your full potential.